Hello, Dahi here from Timestep Softworks. Welcome to the 23rd development video for Vigilantes, which will cover the changes which have been made to Vigilantes Alpha 9. Alpha 9 is currently available. You can get it on IndieDB, Humble or Indie Game Stand. And it's probably worth mentioning that I'm getting pretty close to the end of the free alpha cycle. So if you encounter any errors with this build, please let me know, because this is kind of getting close. This or the next version will be the version that goes out to the press, and hopefully they'll take a look at it. But I'd like to get rid of any errors that are in the build for then. It'll just improve the chances of coverage if things are kind of working smoothly. So with that, I'd also like to mention that I'm moving towards a Greenlight and Kickstarter. There's a mailing list that I've set up if you'd like to get a notification. So if you'd like to vote for the game on Greenlight or support it on Kickstarter, you can sign up to the list, and I'll basically send you out an email when the campaigns are launched. Now, if you've been following the development of Vigilantes, you probably know that I've been working on this for around 20 months, and a typical week is about 55 hours a week. So I've basically been throwing everything I have at this for the last 20 months. Usually 6 to 7 days a week. So any support you could offer me, be it votes or support on Kickstarter, it'd be a very big thing for me. So just moving on to what's happened with this. There have been 2 development videos already, and I'll very briefly summarise those development videos. Effectively, we have a new mission, which is the first interior mission. That's what you're looking at here. It's a Church of the Final Exodus facility, and there's a new enemy, this guy, the Fanatic. And there's also post-mission looting, so you can find items using your bypass and surveillance skill. And there have also been some visibility improvements and some fixes to how fire works. There were a couple of errors of that I've had to root out. And since then, to be honest, a lot of this stuff is not going to be extremely apparent. If you're kind of playing the game now, you'd kind of wonder what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks, but I've been working pretty hard on fixing a couple of things. Effectively, there are some mechanical changes which needed to be made for interior levels, and this will facilitate the addition of future interior levels. It was basically just I had to spend some time to fix these things. I mean, one of the things I had to change first was that these were initially single doors and there were less interconnection between rooms, and this was kind of causing traffic jams in these smaller levels. I thought it might happen, but I didn't realize how bad it was going to be, so I basically opened up these levels, added more doors to them and bigger doors to allow kind of more freedom of movement. There were also some pathfinding issues which kind of emerged. They aren't a problem on open maps, but on interior maps where movement is much more restricted, enemies were actually stopping pathfinding. So I had to go and I spent about 2 to 3 days fixing that, and it wasn't very it's not very exciting stuff. Basically just kind of changing the pathfinding code, rebuilding the game, checking to see if it's worked yet, trying to figure out where the problem is. So I actually burned about 2 to 3 days trying to fix that, and then I guess I had a solution that worked intermittently, and that isn't good enough, obviously. So I started from a different angle, and I solved it in about 2 hours. So that was kind of a bit of a waste of time, but it happens. Explosives also needed some mechanical changes, because if you're in an outside level, you can effectively throw explosives over obstacles. If we were to take, say, this character, and say we wanted to throw a grenade here, effectively you can't throw it through the roof, which the roof is effectively cut off to allow you to see in. So I had to make some changes there to prevent explosives being thrown through roofs in interior levels. There were a couple of other things I needed to take care of for adding interior levels, but I think it's mostly it should be easier basically from now on to develop interior levels and to add them. The process will be quicker in the future now that I've kind of taken the hit in terms of time here. And that's pretty much what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks, fixing up interior levels. And that's more or less all from this development video. So as I said, I'm moving towards Kickstarter and Greenlight. If you'd like to support me, I'll leave a link for the mailing list, and I'll send you an email if you do sign up. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.